Hello and welcome to Football Everyday, coming to you live and direct as usual from Studio V at Wanutama Shopping Centre here in Petaling Jaya. I'm Nelson and with me the usual Football Everyday guys, Shebby and Zack. Hello guys.
Alright,
It's another week. So much to look forward to in today's show as usual, because along with all the football chat and banter, we'll be taking a look at what kind of improvements to the game the guys would like to see implemented in the world of football, but that's coming up later on. And just to quickly remind you, the deadline for the Star Tiger FC Gunning for Glory contest has passed, but we'll be revealing our top 4 finalists next week, so make sure to look out for that, alright? Moving straight into the football chat though, before we talk about this weekend's fixtures, I'm going to ask you, Shebby, has Liverpool's excellent 4-1 win at Old Trafford injected some life into the title race, do you think?
I think not.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think, I mean, let's not take anything away from the performance. Wonderful performance. Man United fans will say that they had an off day, which I agree with.
Right.
I don't think it is going to matter in the title race. I think what Liverpool have done is confirmed now that Man United will be unstoppable. I think they've made Man United angry, and angry Sir Alex Ferguson, angry Man United, translates into an unbeaten run or an extended run of results.
Right, and very quickly, I mean, Shebby, Rafa signing a new contract extension, I mean, what do you make of that? The right thing?
I'm disappointed. Because I think Liverpool, had the title in their hands. They could have well have won it now. But unfortunately, I don't think Rafa has done justice to Liverpool as a football club. So I am disappointed to see him extending his contract.
Right.
Sorry, Nelson, can I just add that, I really do think that, I think Shebby, you made this point on TV last week, that, Man United's blip has come at a good time. I think, with about 8 games to go during the season, I think this is the wake-up call that they really need.
Right.
And I'll be really surprised if they let it slip. They still have a cushion. And yeah, it's a good time to have a wake-up call,
right.
actually.
I mean, and since we're on the topic of Liverpool, they host Martin O'Neill's Aston Villa this Sunday.
Yeah.
Shebby, surely this is a tough one to call.
I think, I think Aston Villa can make it difficult for them, but I think Liverpool have got this momentum going with them. I don't think, that Villa has too much going forward. I think they're pretty blunt in the last few games, and traditionally Liverpool are strong at absorbing pressure. So I think it will be close, but I don't see Liverpool losing.
Shebby, have you heard of that story last week where Agbon Lahore was getting booed by his own fans? Well, what do you think of that? I mean, it's shameful behaviour, really. He's played out of his skin. He's obviously run out of steam, and yet they're booing him.
I think it's ridiculous. I think, there's no place in football for that kind of fans. You look at Agbon Lahore and you think, he has been one of your best players. And don't forget that now he's having to adjust his game to Emil Heskey. Partnerships are not born overnight.
Right.
I'm not blaming Heskey entirely, but I think his presence has affected Agbon Lahore's game. He was in partnership with Carew. They understood each other so well. Carew was injured. Agbon Lahore was the sole target man. Heskey comes in. Suddenly things are not working. I'm very disappointed with the fans. I think Agbon Lahore has had a fantastic season.
Right. I mean, Zack, do you agree with Shebby about how the game's going to pan out this weekend?
With regards to Liverpool and Villa? Well, yeah. I mean, as Shebby said, Villa have been blunt of late. We just talked about Agbon Lahore getting some stick from his own fans. But I think it'll be a close game. But I really can't see Liverpool slipping up, especially when they've gotten all this momentum now. I mean, their confidence is high at Anfield, so I can expect them to carry on.
Score prediction, maybe?
Score prediction? Well, you're really putting me on the fence. I would have to go for Liverpool 2-1.
Liverpool 2-1. Okay, Shebby, very quickly on Aston Villa, what do you think is going to become them at the end of the season? I mean, we know that they've been stuttering
of late, right? They're going to finish 5th.
So, are they going to make it into the Champions League?
I don't think so. I think, certain things have come at the wrong time. One is their poor form, and the other one, their nearest rivals, Arsenal. I think Andre Arshavin has come in at the right time. He's brought, this fresh impetus with him. They're not entirely convincing yet, Arsenal, for me. If they can get a prolific goal scorer, if they can keep Eduardo fit and on the pitch, I think there is more positives with Arsenal finishing 4th than Villa at the moment.
Alright, great stuff. We'll take a deeper look into Arsenal, Arshavin and the rest of the guys right after we take a short little break here on Football Everyday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Football Everyday here in the second segment of the show. As mentioned earlier, right, we're going to move away a little bit from the main football chat and get into something a little different. All right, guys, we all love our football, but I've got to ask you, what kind of improvements to the game would you like to see implemented, in professional football? Start with you, Shebs.
Well, first of all, I've got to bring this up. Michel Platini has come up with another crazy idea that there should be goal line referees. Now that is going to be put into practice. There's going to be a trial period, and he has suggested that the championship in England be used for that. Now, in my opinion, I think, why do you need two, additional people? Where are they going to sit or stand, or to decide goal mouth incidences or
right.
goal line incidences? I think which is ridiculous. I mean, modern technology is such that, you watch tennis, you watch cricket, even cricket are using this laser technology, where the screen is dark and they have like this infrared thing to suggest whether the ball did nick anybody or not. So, technology has improved so much, but unfortunately, Michel Platini and Sepp Blatter, they're still living in the dark ages.
Well, Shebby, I'd like to play devil's advocate for a bit, and I would tell you, the reason why. This is the opinions that I've gathered. People don't want the game to be disrupted anyway. You mentioned cricket. It does take time for them to refer up to the TV console, check the footage. I'm all for goal line technology, but there must be a way to implement it so that it doesn't break the flow of the game. Surely that's essential, right?
Exactly. You look at, we watch the games on television, right?
Right.
How long does it take for a replay to come on?
Yeah.
And you always know that while some incident is being disputed, players are going to be protesting the referees, and all the time the referee is mic'd up. The fourth official has got this TV screen in front of him. In how many seconds, 10, 15 seconds at the most, he can tell the referee outside the box, it's a penalty or ball cross the line. That's it, and the referee makes a decision. It's not like, okay, stop, let's point to the giant screen, let's see the replay. No, it's not.
So you think they can run this? They think they can run this efficiently and quickly enough?
In fact, Zack, I think the referees in England especially are already getting help from the fourth official because they are mic'd up, and you can see certain referees having a quiet word in their ear kind of thing before they decide. So indirectly, I think the referees are introducing it, even though officially the associations and the governing bodies say no.
Well, let me play devil's advocate again then, Shebby.
You're quite good at that.
I know. I like this game. Well, a lot of why we love football, right, is the whole banter. What would we talk about if the human error was taken out of the game? Fallibility is what makes football fun, right?
It's true, Zack.
We have nothing
I
to talk
understand
about.
the human element of it, you know. But again, a manager's job hangs in the balance, like the ball did cross the line or not. Was that a penalty or was it not a penalty? Or was it inside, outside? There's so much at stake now. We're not taking away the humans. Referees will always make mistakes because they're human. But there are certain things that can help the referees and make the game better to watch. Because like I said, there's so much at stake now that, one bad decision from a referee and the team could lose millions.
Yeah, certainly. It really burns me when a goal is scored and then because the linesman or referee didn't see it, it gets this. We saw that recently in the Chelsea Juve game, right? Drogba scored a great goal. It's about 3 yards behind the line.
There you go.
And if Chelsea got outed from the Champions League because of that,
yeah. But on the other hand, Nelson, what I would like to see, and personally, is like, players gain an unfair advantage by foul play. All right.
Right.
And an example, I could foul Zack. Zack goes off the pitch receiving treatment. My team, I've gained an unfair advantage because we are 11 against 10.
Right.
Now, while the time that Zack is off the pitch receiving treatment, I should go off as well. And then, look, it'll take a matter of, seconds or a minute for the physio to decide whether Zack's coming back on or not, because they want him back on immediately. If there is a substitution being made, he cannot continue. I stay out and I come back in with the substitution. So there's no advantage gained by fouling.
Yeah, brilliant. Right. And as an add-on to that, I guess Nelsen, you're going to ask me my innovations, and I would say, recently we saw Kevin Nolan pull off an atrocious tackle on Victor Anichebe. So Anichebe is out for 5 months or so now. Nolan got a 3-match ban. I think that's it's disproportionate to the injury caused.
Definitely.
That was GBH.
if you did that on the street, you'd be in jail. So,
exactly.
With if you put somebody out of the game for 5 months, I think you should have to pay more than 3 match suspension.
Yes, I agree with that.
Great stuff, guys. But it's time now for another break here on Football Everyday. But we'll be right back with segment 3. So keep it locked on. And you're back with us once again here on the third and final segment of Football Everyday. We're moving back into the football chat, and we spoke about Liverpool earlier on. So let's move on to another team who've been somewhat resurgent of late, and I'm talking about Chelsea since the arrival of Gus Hiddink. Shebby, they travelled to White Hart Lane on Saturday to face their fierce rivals, your team. What do you think is going to happen?
I think Chelsea are going to get found out. I think yes, they've had a very good spell since Hiddink came.
Not just because you're a fan of Spurs, right?
No, not that. Because I think they've been working extremely hard physically, and sooner or later that's going to catch up with them. I thought I saw a very poor performance in terms of intensity or intent against Manchester City, who was spineless. Yes. I mean, you should go out there and bury teams like Man City. They couldn't. I mean, they were just up against Dunn, Onoha and Given. Nothing else was happening, or Zabaleta. So for me, I think, and Spurs are getting into a bit of a momentum themselves. Spurs seem to have more direction about them. I personally, not because I'm a Spurs fan, I feel that Chelsea will meet their match this weekend. They might not win the game. Chelsea might not lose the game, but I don't think they'll win it.
Right, Zack, you echo Shebby's thoughts on this?
I certainly about that performance or non-performance against Man City. City, we all know, have been atrocious on the road. We saw it again there that they really didn't care to perform. I don't know what it is, Shebby. That's a whole different episode of football every day. Why can't City get on a bus, travel outside of Manchester and play football like they do? But to answer your point about Chelsea, I think the return of Essien could be key though. He seems to have sparked off a lot of the guys in midfield especially.
I think suddenly, you look at Essien and think...
He's brought energy.
There's only one player in midfield, and that's Essien. Where are the others, Yes, he will carry them maybe for a game and a half, but physically it will take its toll.
Sure.
Alright, score prediction, Shebby?
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
Alright, same in my prediction. But okay, alright. Another interesting tie takes place at St James's Park where Newcastle face Arsenal. Again, Shebby, it might be a bit late, but the Gunners seem to be getting the act together now, right?
I actually watched them play against Hull City in the FA Cup, and I thought Hull City did work them very, very hard. I still think they are blunt up front. I don't know which combination will play or whether Bentner will start, but I like this situation because I think it's a situation where Newcastle cannot afford to lose. At home, the games are running out very fast now, Zack, and they could go down. And
Newcastle
that is becoming a very big
Shep,
possibility.
they've got a terrible run in as well. I was just looking at the Newcastle's run in. I think they've got to play Liverpool. They got to play Chelsea. So it's tough.
And I think they're just above the relegation zone now by virtue of goal difference.
I would say they are in the relegation zone. They're not in the bottom 3, but they are in the relegation zone because that relegation zone
and a
9-10 teams in it.
A rudderless ship as well. You got Chris Houghton in charge, but is he really in charge? Joe Kinnear was there. There to firefight, he's not there anymore.
Rather hoping that it'll be a one-off performance where Newcastle can surprise. They will be brave. They'll make it very, very ugly on the pitch. I do think they can get the 3 points.
So they're going to beat Arsenal. You heard it from Shebby here on Football Everyday.
Wow.
Very quickly, Man United face Fulham at Craven Cottage. Zack, will Fulham spring a surprise and get a result maybe?
I honestly think this is the worst time possible to play any Man United team at the moment. They're going to be out for revenge. I think they've had a week of hairdryer treatments. I think they're just ready to go out there and prove to everybody why it is that they are champions. And I think they will convincingly.
Shebby?
I agree with that. I think, like I said before, angry Man United. I think Sir Alex Ferguson would have had them, doing back to the basics training. Vidic would have been heading a lot of balls, and this is what you do when you have a bad performance. You go back to the basics.
Right?
Which will be a big help.
So Johnny Evans come back in, and
I think the big mistake was not starting with Berbatov. I thought the value of Berbatov was more evident when he was not on the pitch against Liverpool. He will start. I do expect Fletcher perhaps to play alongside Carrick, because I think Anderson is nothing but a headless chicken. So I do expect Man United to bounce back.
All right, great stuff here. Thanks, guys. So you heard it from Shebby, right? It's going to be a Liverpool Man United win, draw for Chelsea, and a loss for Arsenal. Great stuff as usual. Thanks a lot. But that's all the time we have on today's edition of Football Every Day. If you took part in the Star Tiger FC Gunning for Glory contest once again, make sure to watch out for the winner announcement coming to you next week. All right. Till then, we'll see you again. Enjoy your football. Ciao.